All right. Hi guys, I am here. I'm just situating my laptop. All right, there we go. And I'm a little crooked. We can fix that. There we go. Okay. So, I know most of you guys have messaged me you're at work. You guys can always watch this later. That's the nice thing. I don't have to go through and edit it. It's just raw content. You guys can see all of my mess ups live, of course. But I've already stamped my face. I did not like the other one, so I threw it out. I have a bunch of pieces from Marjorie Ann S'mores, Franklin and Frannie S'mores from MarjorieAnnDesigns.com. So my white is just regular white, and it's American Crafts. My chocolate color is by Basil, and it's called Chocolate. That's going to be this one. And then for the, what is it called? Graham cracker, I ended up using Crafty, and it's by American Crafts. It has like little speckles already in it. And then for my bear, I went with the color Caramel. And that as well is from American Crafts. It's right here. For the ears, I used Blush by American Crafts, the pads. And then for the nose, the muzzle is Oatmeal by American Crafts. Now, I know not everybody can afford to go crazy with the ink pads. And Catherine Pooler, they are worth the investment because they last forever and the refills are only $2.95. The big pads are $6.95. The smaller ones are $3.95. I love the minis, but not every color comes in the minis, such as these two, which are my go-tos. But if you can't afford Catherine Pooler, which we've all been there, I was a single mom for a lot of years until I got remarried. 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop actually has the Memento, which I use as well, on sale right now, and they're $2.99 a piece. Or you can wait for Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby has a sale with 40 to 50% off of their inks every third week. These are the colors that I use on Franklin Bear. Well, this is on white, so take that out. But it's going to be Desert Sand, Angel Pink, and Peanut Brittle. The Desert Sand I use to ink Franklin or Frannie. The Angel Pink I use on the ear pads. And then the Peanut Brittle I use on the muzzle. For the eyes, I use Bahama Blue because all my Franklin Bears have blue eyes. Yes, it's Bahama Blue. And then for my white, I go around my white pieces with Summer Sky. And this is just going to be an alternative to you guys, for you guys, if you either don't want Catherine Pooler or it's too hard to get, etc. Memento is another way to go. I actually just did a video for 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, and it was using Memento ink. They haven't uploaded it yet, but it should be being uploaded soon. I can't put it on mine until they go live on theirs because, as you guys know, I'm a design team member for 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, Marjorie Ann Designs, etc. And I'm just trying to make sure that everybody has different options. Now, I do use chalk at times. I've been getting messages on what kind of chalks I use. I got this from eBay. I bought 5 of them. I even sent 2 of them to my mom. And this, I went with the pastels just because it had all of the colors that I need on days that I use chalk. It's got the browns for the bears, the pinks, the muzzle color. It's got all of it. I use this one for the muzzle. That one is, they all have the names up here. More mustard. And then I use the close to cocoa, or sometimes the caramel, just depending on if I go with a lighter brown and I don't use the caramel. Everybody says it different. And then the cheeks, I use my blush. No, this one's pretty in pink. And then for the ears, I'll use this one over here. So this one's just the newer one. My used one's up in my dream box, but I just basically know that not everybody's comfortable with inks. The other thing I use before I went to ink, my metallic cream chalks. I own 20 of these because I was so afraid that they were going to be discontinued, and they are hard to find. And the other part of it was I could never find the stupid alligator clips that everybody asks about, but I did send a link out. You can buy these now with pom-poms. It wasn't like that long ago. But I love these. These are my go-tos on days that I don't want to use ink. So for my finger daubers, they're all in cases. I have 8 cases. So my yellow oranges, my reds, pinks, and then I have purple in another, black in another, brown in another, blue in one, and green in one, and then my miscellaneous. I got 2 from Hobby Lobby because I found them, but I got my first 6 of them from Michael's. And they're just in where the glitter is. They're on the bottom shelf. And they come with finger daubers in them, but I will say I do not like the finger daubers that come inside of them. I'll show you guys why right now. And if I have to take Puppy outside, I'll let you guys know. But I took her out before I started. That's what took so long. These are the ones that come inside of them. And the problem is, they are made for people with big fingers because there's no way this is going to stay on a finger. There's just, yeah, it's impossible. When I do use them, I hold them this way, but it's awkward when you're used to using the finger daubers. Now, the finger daubers that I use, I got from Amazon. It was 60 of them for $12. I also use my big round pads though, with the wooden handle. And these are them. I wrote on them what colors, just so I knew, because I don't want to mix them. Like this one is clay mask, and it's for my kids' skin tone. And these I got from Joann's, but I'm sure you can get them anywhere. I've seen them at Hobby Lobby. I've not been to Hobby Lobby in so long now. The video is open on my laptop right now, so if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. I've already went through and stamped my face, so I didn't have to mess with that because I've almost got it perfected, but there's some days that I just don't get it. So what I did with my stamp is I marked it. And this is so I know where the sides of my cheeks are. So each end of my cheek is there, and all I did was, well, not my cheek, sorry, where the edge of my eyes are. And I took a sticky and I just wrapped it around, and then I marked under my sticky. So what I do with my stamp, and this is how I use it, I line it up, and these are 1-inch squares. This is my glass mat, and you can use a piece of paper and just kind of make a 4-inch block, a 4-inch square, and then divide that into 4 individual squares. And I'm going to do it on the back side, just so you guys can see. Let me move these. And I line my stamp up at the 1 inch. So the bottom of my face is on a line, and I go 1 inch up. And then I just 1 inch from the bottom is where the top of my stamp is. That way my muzzle is not too far up. And that's it. That is how I do it. That way, no matter what, my muzzle is not going to be too low and it covers the face. So yeah, this was something I did because I have tremors. As you guys know, I've had back surgery. It is a little tricky on the, I just re-inked it so it's darker. It's about the same. It is a little tricky on textured cardstock. Sometimes I do have to go in with a micron pen, and I use the 005 and touch in the little areas that don't always fill in, but I don't always have a lot of issues. And then I just put my 2 little lines on the bottom. But we're gonna go ahead and ink this. I'm gonna show you guys how I use my pan pastels to do the eyes. And these I posted on my Facebook. And these were the eyelash pieces for false eyelash glue. I got them on Amazon in a pack of 100. But I use these if I don't use paintbrushes to go around my eyes and also the whites of my eyes. All right, so for the caramel color for the skin, I'm gonna use Sandcastle by Catherine Pooler. And my handy dandy Taco Bell cups. I just asked for extras. They hold the beans. I'm sure they hold other things too, but I always get them just because 1, I don't want to get ink on pieces, and 2, I don't want to lose my pieces. If you guys chat in the box, I can read it because I can see it on my screen. Let me clear that though. There we go. All right. But if you have any questions, let me know. I don't mind helping. And this, I might not even ink the whole thing. This is just basically so you guys can kind of see how I do it, but then putting her together. And this is Frannie from the Franklin and Frannie S'mores file. This is the one where she's sitting on the s'mores. Now, with ink, I've had people ask, I can show you guys how to get in the little grooves. That has been a very common frustration. I've answered more messages to that than really anything else. A lot of you guys want to start using ink because chalks are not the easiest to find. So use wax paper, a glass, a tile, a plate. And what I do is generally my inks are wetter than this. This one, I just haven't refilled it yet. I put ink on my glass mat, and that's where I pull it off of. That way it's not too much and going to bleed, because I would rather have to make it darker than it end up being so saturated it bleeds. So this is how I go into the little areas. I'm doing the base. I'm not going to use, she's going to be covered. I just want to show you guys the parts that your daubers don't get. And this is a pom-pom. And this one is 5 millimeters. Yeah, they're 1/4 of an inch. They come in packs. I got a pack from Amazon. I've gotten a pack from Hobby Lobby. And I separate them all into a jewelry box. Tackle boxes, it doesn't matter what you use. And then what I did is I took tape, I wrote the colors. Let's see here. Just so I know where they go. And that's just me. You don't have to do it, but if they're gonna bleed into each other, I at least want them similar colors. And your new ones, they don't end up ruined. Now, if I dab into that, I dab the excess off on the glue or onto my foam. And that's just once again because I don't want it dark. I'd rather go over it a couple times to get at the darkness that I want versus it just end up so saturated and start bleeding. But that's just going into the grooves. And that's where your pom-pom and your pom-pom, where your ink pads won't always reach. I don't do the long spot just because I get impatient and I start, but I use pom-poms. That's how I get in the divots and the grooves of everything, letters, numbers. I can't wait until 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop posts the file that I just did. I did 2 files actually. And then they'll be shared to my page and Marjorie Ann Designs as well. One is a complete set and it came out so cute. So I just go around, and the reason why I tap off the excess ink, I do not want it so dark that I don't like it or that it ends up bleeding, because some of these inks, especially when they're new, they will bleed some. So I just err on the side of caution. So I'll go around it a couple times until I get it at the desired color and darkness. So I'm going to put this aside, the ink, just because I don't want to touch anything. Now, this is why I work on a glass mat. I'm going to move that. I spray my rag. I got the glass mat from Joann's. It's the biggest one they have. It's 22 inches by 16 inches, and it covers my Dreambox table. Even though my Dreambox table has a cover on it, I still want to protect it because the mat that's underneath, goodness, hold on, here. The mat that's underneath this, it's a self-healing mat, but the problem is it absorbs the ink, and the ink is not easy to get out of it. And that is trial by fire. I've made the mistake. So I went right back to using my glass mat. Even though I had bought the mat, the self-healing mat to cover my Dreambox desk, I thought that it would replace my glass mat, and it doesn't. My glass mat is my go-to because I have such minimal waste, which works great with your chalks, your inks. Your glues come right out of it. And my rings scratch it because diamonds scratch glass, as you guys know. And I forget to take them off. I've been married almost 2 years, and I feel naked even when the jeweler has to inspect them because we got them at Zales. But anyhow, the little scratches on it. If you don't wear your jewelry, the other thing to be careful if the scratches annoy you is your fine tip tweezers. They will, when you go to scoop up anything. So to fix that, this stick is by Silhouette. I got it from Hobby Lobby, and it is my best friend. It will pick up anything you need, and it doesn't stick to ruin the paper. But you can pick up your pieces out of containers. You can pick up pieces that you've dropped on the floor, which I love to do. So now this is Pan Pastel. I got these from Amazon. And this was because I watched a video with Connie from Prairie Paper Crafts. I love her. And I seen her using these, and the color is so rich and dark. And this color is black. I could not figure out why this is so much darker and vibrant than the regular chalks that we use. So now for my little eyelash glue stick, my false eyelash glue stick, I had originally got the purple ones from Hobby Lobby. Couldn't figure out what they were called because they were at the checkout stand, and I like to find stuff that isn't meant for scrapbooking and find a way to utilize it. These are squeegees, and this has felt on it. I got these on Amazon. I found them, and they've become my best friend. They don't ripple your paper. They don't ruin it, because there's been times that with the bone folders, I've gone across and I've beheaded my poor Franklin. And if you guys have finished a piece and then ruined it, you guys will understand where I'm coming from. It's very sad to have to throw a piece that you've spent all that time away. Now, I lightly just dab into this and I wipe off the excess because the pan pastel is so rich in color. You got to be careful. And the nice thing is, though, you can erase it. And I slowly just build up on it, and I don't keep dipping back into this just because I don't want them overpowering. I just want it subtle. So the black is the first one I got, but I don't remember how it happened. They ended up sending me this one, which is neutral gray, extra dark. I use this on the kids because it's not as dark. That way, then, if you have a heavy hand, you don't have to worry so much about cleaning it up. These are my templates that I make. Templates. My templates that I make for tracing my teardrop eyes because I haven't done an eyelash stamp for them yet. And this is all I do for my Franklin eyes. Now, I do have a Tombow Micro Zero eraser, and that's where I just go kind of clean up along the edges. Amazon. And anything you guys need, let me know. I can put a link in the comments once it's posted. I cut out all my eyes. These are my teardrop eyes. Now I can give you guys a sneak peek of a file that I did using them. I just can't show the whole thing. It's not until it's posted. So that's the teardrop eyes. I made these eyes and I can make them public actually on, sorry, I'm getting 1,000 Amazon notifications. I can see if I can make them public on Cricut Design Space for you guys to access, because it asks me if I'd like to make things public, and I don't mind sharing things that I've made. I'm not gonna go zip them, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the Franklin eyes. Even if you don't buy the stamp, I'm gonna make it public where you just go find my Cricut page, and it should allow you to access the eye shape. But I went ahead and eyes make the difference for a file. I don't even know if my comments, let me see, I'm gonna comment in here to make sure everybody can see and reply if needed. I can read the comments, so if you guys have questions, go ahead and ask. I'm sitting here and looking at the laptop while I'm scrapbooking. Don't ask why I didn't pull my eyes out before the video. I got everything ready, I thought, but I was sadly mistaken because I forgot the most important thing. And I cut out hundreds of eyes at a time. And that's just so I can pick them off and not have to sit there and wait to cut them out. Plus, there's times that I've had to throw a head away and I don't want to recut out eyeballs if I've messed up. I still make boo-boos, but we're gonna go ahead and do the eyes because I know that everybody that has got the stamp loves it, but it doesn't hurt to make sure that I'm simplifying the eyes for you guys. I just don't know if the comments are on. That's why I feel bad, because generally some people, I know a few of you guys talk to me when I'm in here. So now for the eyes, I just go around the edge, and it's just a thin layer. I don't go crazy on it because for the most part, I want some of the light to show, and there's not very much blue because you want more of the black. That way you have surface area to detail them. So now we're gonna do this one. And the color I'm using is by Catherine Pooler. It is Something Borrowed. And the blue paper is Ocean by American Crafts. Just in case you guys want to know. let's go ahead and glue these down, and then we'll do the whites of the eyes together so you guys can see. Let me take the blue off my finger. And we'll cover this. I've dropped the white one more than once just because my hands like to let things go. So there's some loose pieces in it. And to repack it down, all you do is pour alcohol into it, rubbing alcohol, and you take a paper towel and you press it down, and you take the paper towel off and you leave the lid off and you let it air dry, and it's back to new. I've dropped it more than once. Kind of like my makeup. I don't wear it anymore. And then for my cheeks, I use the Stampin' Up, but I also use actual blush from a makeup palette. It just depends on which one I grab. So I'm gonna glue the whites down. I dab the excess off. 5 million messages from Amazon. I don't know why it doesn't bulk together. They send it individually. Okay. I dab the excess glue off of the backs of the eyes. That way, when you press it down, none of it's getting into where you've chalked your eye. Let's make sure. Now, the line of the eye is just a guide. More Amazon. Ugh. It's just a guide so you know where to butt the eye up against. It's not, I don't have it visible on mine, and I know that it could be confusing. I don't use it. I've actually put other eye shapes into it, and I've just ended up covering up that one, the top two, I should say. But that's just me. I am going to eventually work on other eye shapes. I'm going to probably do my teardrop eye, and then maybe an oval eye. I normally glue these down before I glue them to the head, but there we go. I'm having tremors today, guys. Sorry. A little shaky. And then the black one's gonna go on. They're not too bad today, but I can fill them. All right. So now we'll do the other eye. And as far as the Catherine Pooler, once I'm done, I'll show you guys the colors that I use for my Franklin bears. And even if you just love Franklin bears and you start with them as a base, it's at least a good start. Once again, if you can find it in the mini is worth it. The big one, because the finger daubers, the big ones, it started off that I got big ones because I was using them for my stamping. I have tons of stamps, and I used to stamp a lot. And I haven't really done it lately as much as I used to, but that's how the big one started. So I use Sandcastle on my caramel. The Do-Si-Do is on the inner ear. The reason I have this really dark icing on the cake is so I can use it on my chocolate. And I'm probably going to end up using the glaze on this just to give it the shiny effect, since it is chocolate on s'mores. Alright, now I'm trying to put the pin back into my fine line applicator here. So, this here is hundreds of, probably over 1,000 of them. These are the whites of the eyes. I cheat. This is a regular circle from Design Space, Cricut Design Space, 0.08 by 0.08. And Frannie, I made her She's the one sitting on the s'mores, bear number 4. She's going to be 10.0 width by the height of 8.054. Now, I let everybody know when I do the width, when I say the width of the head is 2 inches, that's from cheek to cheek, even on my children. And with the Franklin and Frannie set, it's generally always the width of 10.0 in Cricut Design Space, but the width is actually 2 inches in real time. But the 10.0 width in Cricut Design Space is generally where I start. I always start at 10, and some of them are 9.75 or 10.25, but if you start at 10, that'll at least give you the gauge if you need to go up or down. And the reason I cut these out is because, there I go making messes. My brain, I just haven't quite woke up. I didn't drink any coffee or anything yet. I cut these out because I don't always have steady hands, and I noticed that this was easier for me than using the white gel pen. And what I'm doing now is I am putting ink onto my finger. And I dab it, that way I don't have all the excess where it ends up around the eye. And these are from Amazon, they came in a kit. I know one of the ladies messaged me and I sent her the link. But you guys can always let me know if you guys need the links to anything, because all I have to do is go into the buy it again. Let's make sure these are as even as I can get them. Yes. And there he is thus far. Now, I am going to ink the muzzle just so we can put the muzzle on. This is oatmeal. And what did I do with, there they are. I use Memento Peanut Brittle, always. I have the big one as well, not just the small one. And you guys can always write this down, rewatch it, rewind it, fast forward it, and write them down. But this is always, I use the same colors for my Franklin and Frannie. It never varies. I got my paper from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop because they deliver and I don't have to leave. Especially on bad days, I don't want to leave. So here comes the fun part. Here's how I do the whites of my eyes, and I'll zoom it back up. I can't zoom in on Facebook Live for some reason, or YouTube Live. Sorry. But it makes it easier where I don't have to go through and edit the video, so I'll just hold it up to the camera. Now, I do it 2 ways. This is a lip brush. I found out. Somebody told me what it was. I dab it in to get off the excess, and I just go under the bottom. But the reason why I stopped using this is because I had to clean it up too much, just because it's so broad. And that's where these came into play. I still clean them up, my edges, but it's not as crazy of an area covered, and I have more control to actually blend it in. Now, the reason I share with you guys what I do, because I know a lot of people have told me not everybody shares. There's no way I could do all the orders that everybody wants. And the feeling you get when you open your scrapbook and you share it, or you just look at it and your pieces are done and I did that. That is just one of the best feelings. Prismacolor, this is just white. I got it from Hobby Lobby. They're individual. Let me move this. And with your chalks, if I could quit knocking stuff over, with your chalks, you can go over it several times and make it darker, which sometimes I do. I just make a little line here. Not always. I don't always do the line, but this time I will, just so people can see. Because I want to show you guys how I clean it up if I don't like it. So let's say that you went a little too high on the black. All I do is take this, the one that I used for around the eyes, and I just rub it and it's gone. So here is the gel pen. I do a medium-sized dot at the top and just a little speck at the bottom, a super small one at the bottom. Now do the eyes before you put the muzzle on. Otherwise, you're gonna have this part here with nothing. It'll just be the color. I don't know if it bothers you guys. I have forgotten, and with these little tools, I've been able to go under the muzzle, and it made my OCD happier. I am very much about even things, and it's just been that way since I've been young. Now, I've been asked about these tools. They're called Doodle Sticks by Imagine. I found them on Amazon. Originally, I got them from Joann's. And they're silicone tips. And this is what I get my glue off if I had made a mess. If I don't use my gummy eraser, I still use my gummy eraser. I'm in my Hello Kitty desk organizer. But you don't always have to use an eraser. It'll get the excess off for you guys. And there's 5 different tips in here. I have not opened this pack yet. Here, let me scoot them up. There's it would be round, but then it's beveled. It's a beveled tip. This one has a little bit of a bevel, but a flat end. This is the cylinder fine point. This one is flat. It's a flat brush. And then this one is the flat brush, but it's beveled diagonally. Tapered, cupped, yeah, they're all there. So I have probably 3 packs of these open, and I use coupons at Joann's when they did have them, but lately I've been going and they haven't had them. So the cheeks, I pulled out the pink from my Stampin' Up just because I don't want to have to pull out that big thing. And then this is the same company as this. Amazon does carry it now. Brush Sticks is the name of it. I use the round, flat round. By Imagine. Joann's is where I had bought them, and I found them on Amazon. Other places have them as well, and you'll be able to find them on sale. But I found that they apply the blush the best for me because it gets in the grooves. So I am going to take a little bit of red and go in just to make the cheeks a little bit more prominent. That way you guys can see it. I don't go crazy with it just because it's hidden behind the muzzle anyways, and all I do is stamp into the red, and it's ruby red. But it's so dark that I don't push super hard to go, because then I just take my finger. Sometimes I will take my eraser and lighten it up a little. I don't need it that far. The muzzle's going to cover most of it, so you want it on the outer sides of the outer edges of the cheeks. See? His face is coming along. Now, with the muzzle, you guys don't have to be extra. It's just me because my scrapbooks get so heavy. These are the glue dots from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. They're super small. They have tons of them. I have a whole bag of them in my dream box, but I'm not going to dig them out. 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop has them. They come in clear like this. This is actually the end of a box that I had from Joann's. And what I do here is I place it between the eyes, about right there. And the reason why is because I noticed when I put the nose on and I draw the mouth, sometimes it'll indent there. Where do I buy my basil cardstock? I get it from 12 by 12 cardstock shop at 12 by 12 cardstock shop has it, but also Joann's. I only get it from Joann's when they have the huge blowout sale where it's 10 for $2. Otherwise, it's all 12 by 12 cardstock shop, and I'll put the link in the comments once I'm done with the video and it's up. That way then you guys can just click it and see. Most of my paper is American Crafts. I've kind of veered away from basil. I only use basil on the colors that they don't have in American Crafts. And American Crafts is from 12 by 12 cardstock shop is also 12 by 12 cardstock shop is also. Oh my gosh, I am 12 by 12 cardstock shop also. There you go. Oh my goodness, my brain. I woke up, figured I'd get on here just to help some people because I got some messages and they just needed a little help with Franklin and Frannie, which is fine. So now what I do, I just push that down, but it doesn't indent now. So it's smooth. It stays even because that little piece in there doesn't allow it to sink. Otherwise, then when you go to draw the mouth on, forget it, it's over. The middle of it sinks. So cut a little square piece of cardstock or use, I know you guys have paper punches. We all do. That was a thing back in the day. We all have paper punches. Hobby Lobby has paper punches. Amazon has paper punches. A regular size or a small paper punch. And you want to just put a piece of cardstock right where the top, if you want. Now, I've already cut out all my muzzles, ears, and noses. I've messed up more faces than you guys can imagine. This is just another jewelry box. This is how I resize everything. I wrote in Sharpie on tape just so that way I knew which Franklin I used, the size he was. That way my eyes and ears and muzzles are always even. So if you guys want, you guys can glue, put it on here. Don't put it directly on the face. Put it right there for you guys. I've just done so many so long that I know where it goes. And it'll make it a lot easier when you guys do the mouth. So for this, my micron, that's a 0.02. That's the wrong one. It rolled away. There it is. So this one is micron 005. I used the 02 to trace the eyes, but I used the 05 to touch up my eyelashes and do my muzzle. This is a piece of acetate. 12 by 12 cardstock shop, Amazon, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, everybody has acetate. This one still has the protector on it. And the reason I use acetate is that way I can find the middle and actually see it. And because I have tremors, my line going down the mouth was getting to the point of being very shaky, and I didn't like it. The file does have the little black dot for the mouth if you don't want to do this. And today I probably shouldn't have, but we'll try to clean it up. Yeah, today's not a great day, but you know what? Just try to get through it. The fusion, I don't know. I have surgery coming up on the 25th, so you guys might not see me for a little bit. I'm going to have a spinal cord stimulator implanted to see if it gives me some relief with the tremors. That's the worst part for me. The tremors, because they're painful. And I know that's not uncommon with people that have had fusions. I was in an accident. My neck got broke. Well, my neck had gotten fractured, which is a break. And the doctor just, yeah, he ended up severing a nerve that he shouldn't have. And I'm not going to ink all these just because I'm going to hop off because it's a little bit of a rough day. I just basically wanted to get the face, the inking, which, well, you know what? I'll ink this. It's not going to take that long. because they're all pretty big pieces. That way you guys can actually see it. We'll glue it down and then I'll go ahead and hop off for the day. So for the legs, I only ink the top and the long sides. You don't have to do the shorter sides because they're covered. They're covered by the body and the feet. You can use a finger dauber. The only time I use the big ones is on my Franklin, just because there's so much area and it's such a common piece for me that I just pick it up and I go. Especially on days with my finger daubers and tremors, not a good combo. So I end up dropping them. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, I just wanted to see how her arms were. So since her arms are behind the body, you're only going to chalk just this round part. You don't need to chalk the whole thing. You can if you want, but it's going to be hidden. And I try to save as much ink as I can because it does add up. It's expensive. The body, you chalk the whole way around. And that's always just, unless it's got shorts or a bathing suit on, or it's only half like a peeker. And I'm still just dabbing off the excess, that way it's not too heavy. Now it does lighten when it dries, Catherine Pooler. It does not stay as dark as it goes on. So don't be afraid to go over it a couple times. It's buildable, which if you don't like how light it is, you can just keep going over and it will keep slightly getting darker. And that's one thing that I love about it, is some inks, you put them on and they're so bold that you're just like, wow, that's a bit overpowering, isn't it? So these are the feet. Now the ears. Generally on every single one of her files, the left ear is bigger than the right ear. I've had so many people want to throw out the Franklin Bear because the ears. I will show you guys the ears. This one is the left ear, and I can already tell because it's the way it fills on the size. This is the bigger one. I didn't even have to look. There's a size difference between the left and the right, and they line up a certain way. With this long side is the side for the left ear that's going to go out. And then this one here, this flatter side is the right one that's going to face out on this. But this pattern, she tricked me. This one's actually the opposite way, which is very uncommon. I don't know if she just mirrored it, because if you go through all the older Franklins, the left ear is always the bigger one. So this time on this Frannie, the bigger ear is going to be on the right, and the smaller ear is going to be on the left. But the nice thing is she did make it where you can tell. You just look at your base and it will let you guys know which side which one goes on. I guess I'm gonna have to do the pads of the ears now too, huh? So for the s'mores, the graham cracker, I'm gonna use my Sandcastle Brown still, or I would use my Desert Sand by Memento. It's gonna, either way, no matter what color you use, I would still keep it the same brown, because it's still a different brown that she's sitting on, and I'll show you guys. But even if it was the same, your ink is going to separate your browns. That's like when we put white on white. I don't know with the light if you guys can. Let me use a bigger piece. I'll lay it over this way. This craft color just reminded me of s'mores because it has little specks in it already, and I thought that that was great. But her sitting on it, even if you didn't have a lighter brown, your browns are going to separate once you chalk it. So you don't have to worry about the edges being different colors. It was just something I had. So I've done other s'mores files, and that's how I ended up buying that color from Joann's. I'm not sure if 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop has it, but this is older paper. I want to say probably a year or two now. I got it last year when they had the big sale, because it's just so much easier with free shipping and the sells for the 25 packs. When the paper is not on sale at Joann's, it's actually more expensive than 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. And they ship, excuse me, all over, which is nice. It's free shipping over, I think, $60, but I buy tons and tons of paper packs. So this color's blush, and this is the Do-Si-Do ink. And the Do-Si-Do color by Catherine Pooler. And you'll find what works for you. I just try to give people the incentive to scrapbook and the tools where you're not spending all this time trying to figure out what color do I use for this, what color, you know, what's the closest color I can get to that. Excuse me. All right. The fan's blowing in my direction. I think it's just making me thirsty. Give me one moment. Okay, better. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just put her together real quick. Now the legs are gonna go on first because this bear is mirrored. I wanna make sure that it's the same concept. Yes. All right. So it's the same thing as her standing up. The shorter edge is going to be on the left side. The part, you'll see, it doesn't come across. It grooves up higher on the outside. And it's going to be the same. The only thing that happened is her ears got swapped because it's a mirror. And all she did was, when she created it, she did the same thing. She just flipped it when she made it, which is fine with me. I love Frannie. Now at least the bows are already in the files and I don't have to go hunting. You guys will laugh if I show you what I used to do. So when I was making the girls, because Frannie never used to be a thing. It was only Franklin, which I love. I love Franklin so much. He needed a girl because I didn't always want boys. Well, I went and cut out probably 200 bows. That way I could just pull them out of the bag. And some of them are patterns, some of them aren't. These are solids. My patterns are... Yes, I am that person. That was how I was doing it. And it was because I didn't always have a girl. I went through and made a whole bunch of Franklins. Hold on, guys. What was that noise? Move, Mama. Thank you. I don't know if that's Amazon, but I hear some pounding outside and it even scared the doggy. You okay, Mama? Hi, pretty girl. My puppy, she's so cute. She's so big now. Well, I lie. She's not that big. Hold on. She's being nosy. I will stick her in the camera. Where'd you go, Mama? Come here, pretty girl. I just cleaned my carpets, so yuck. Say hi. You can say hi. Yeah, tell my pretty babies. Tell my pretty girl. You can say hi to everybody. Yes. You love Mama love, huh? Okay. Sorry, guys. Yes. But she heard the same noise I did, and I heard her make a funny noise, and I'm like, what is that? But she was barking earlier at somebody that was by our backyard. She hears everything, so she is very protective even though she's small. She's almost 4 pounds. She's almost full grown, but that's my baby. So if I have to leave, because when she stands at the door, she lets me know she's got to go to the restroom. So during the lives, I've had to pause my videos, even recording, and meld them together because she sometimes doesn't want to wait, and I don't want her having accidents. Okay, so after the legs, and this is going to be the same for every single Franklin bear and mostly the kids as well. The legs always go on first, and then the feet, or the body and then the feet, but the legs always go on first. Doesn't matter. And then I put the body on, and then the feet, then the ears, and then the head. And that's just because I've done them so long, I just do it, but I don't want to just do it. And that's where a lot of people don't know the order. So write it down. Legs, feet, body, ears, ear pads, and then head. Arms are last. Does not matter. Unless it's on the base. Not many of her bases have arms on them. So if there is no arms on the base, the arms are last, irregardless. Because you're going to position them however you want after you're finished. So now we're going to do the ears. I already know which way they go because, like I said, I've done so many. This is usually the right ear, but for this file it's on the left because Frannie's different, I guess. And the flattest part goes outside. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to give this a good rub. Just make sure. This thing's so smooth. I love it. I can put the link in the comments after the video's over, though. If you guys want it, just let me know. I love some of the stuff I find, though. It's not made for scrapbooking, but I've made it for scrapbooking. So now the flatter part goes on her right ear. And now we're going to put the ear pads on. It's taken an hour just to do her. This is how long paper pieces. So if you guys buy paper pieces, or you guys know people that buy paper pieces and they complain about spending $7 for a piece, you know, we've spent over an hour putting them together, cutting them out, inking them, gluing them, detailing them, and $7 to $10 is nothing. Most people want to make more than that an hour if they have a job. I know, so, but we don't charge a lot. Well, I don't, because this is just a hobby, and basically this just keeps me moving. Doctor told me after my fusion, use it or lose it, because the stenosis, the stiffness is going to get worse. Now, I'm putting it on first just to show you guys that it always goes behind the body. But I do this just as a hobby. I don't do this for income. I know some girls do, and I know that was my other eyelash jump on the flat side, just so you guys could see. Some of the girls, they charge a lot. Some of their work is absolutely to die for. I love Connie's work. I love Babs's work. And I've even bought pieces from people. Babs, don't come for me. Yes, I bought pieces from her. But one piece she did send me was one of the super nurses. That way I could give that to my oncology nurse, the nurse at my oncology office. I had breast cancer in my 20s and I have 2 lumps in my breast. Anyways, we'll just move on. That's normal. She did make me a super nurse, but I haven't followed up yet because I'm still waiting on one more biopsy to be done, and that won't be done until this month, at the end. Now, I slid the glue over a little bit, or my body, and so the under part is showing, and I don't want to see it. And this is just me. You don't have to do this, but I don't want to see that little part of body. And all I do is cut it off when that happens. If I have a little piece of the base showing, I just cut it off. Yep. Tremors, you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys can see the little tremors I got going on, the shaking. Why did I use an eraser for that? All right, there we go. The eraser stuck in there. Okay. But I got chalk on his arm, her arm. All right. So I'm not going to finish all of her up just because I'm going to quit while I'm ahead for the day. Her bow is going to go on here. You can give her eyebrows if you want. And I have not made the definitive decision of putting this bow on. I haven't inked it, by the way. It's just to show you guys where it would go. Now the s'mores pieces here, they're gonna lay this way. But yeah, my hands are shaking a little bit more than usual. So I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. This is gonna actually go under this piece. Oh, she actually, so there's, this is gonna line up with this here. It's gonna line up with the top. And then she gave little edges, I love. And that's gonna line up right there with the edges. But the bottom I would glue on first, that way it's actually dripping down. That's just me, you don't have to do it the same way I would. And I'm gonna glaze mine, that way it's nice and shiny. And after the glaze dries, then I'll glue this top part on and sit her right on it. Her little arms are gonna go here. And that will be how she looks when she's finished. So the last thing, I can actually do it with my hands. I'm sorry guys, I didn't know it was gonna get worse instead of better, but it is what it is. So for my inner ear pads, let me turn it so you guys can see. I put a dot here and then I just go down. You don't have to do all the extra. And because my hands were shaking, I have a little bit of the base. I don't want to see it, so I just use even sewing scissors because they're so tiny. And I just cut it at an angle, but that way it's not sticking out where you can see the base. And then for the hands, I do the same thing. I just take it's a lot easier if it's glued down instead of it moving. And I have to do the nose as well. And you guys don't have to do all this extra. It's just me. Let's go ahead and do the nose, and I'll clean that hand up in a moment. I did that side too thick. So for the nose, I just do a little dot, and I quit going the whole way across the nose. That's just me. That hand I have to fix. I'll do that later though. Where is my, so now the makeup brush. So I dab it into my pan pastel. I add a little highlight into the feet just to get some of the excess off. And then I just put a little bit of the white only where my little white gel pen went. And now I'm gonna go back in and do the other foot. And you could use a regular paintbrush, it doesn't matter. This is just something that came in my makeup pack that I had ordered during the pandemic. I did BoxyCharm, mostly for the moisturizers. And they had brushes in the one, and I was like, you can't even wear makeup with a mask. What am I gonna do? We'll use them for scrapbooking. So, all right, guys. if you have any questions, let me know. I'm not going to glue these hands on just because my hands were shaking and I don't like the way that the lines are. But I cut out extras just because I tend to know my good days from bad days. So I'm not even going to do those white areas. I refuse. Let me put these away. But here she is. Any questions, let me know. I can do more of them, maybe later or even this weekend so more people can get on. Anything you guys want as far as things I've used, let me know in the comments and I will give you guys the links. I'll just attach them. But thanks for watching and have a good day, guys. Enjoy your weekend. I am going to do another giveaway, by the way, on my page. I've already got the piece done. Yipes. Sorry. I've already got the piece done, but I can't show that one either until 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop posts it. So once it goes live there, then I can post it on mine. And it will be just another giveaway, just because you guys know I do my pieces for my monthly, because we have to do so many, but they're not always things that I want. And not that I don't want, but they're not going to anything that I'm working on or an order. I don't know why I don't do my orders. Probably because I can't even share them. If it's an order piece, I can't share it until it goes live, and nobody's gonna want to be okay with their order. Not, well, most people wouldn't care if it just showed up at their house, but I just do the extra pieces because the whole order is a lot, and I like doing single pieces for my videos. And 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, we do 2 short videos and 1 long. We can do more, but that's just all that they ask, just because it lets us display our things and use the stuff that we get from them. But I have another giveaway coming, and I'm also thinking about this because these are extra. So it is Happy Birthday, and it would be, you know, your base piece. It's just a die cut, but I have extras. That's what I was saying. Being a design team member for so many places, I get so much free stuff and extra stuff. It's crazy. But have a good weekend, guys, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.